Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of S.W.A.T MMA, plus the Smoking Weed and Talking MMA podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at CryptoCrewNex.com. If you're into cryptocurrency at all, they make some pretty cool Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, whatever you want, all original designs, CryptoCrewNex.com. My name is Jarrod.
I'm Paul.
And today, while we are talking MMA, we're going to be smoking on some fine Las Vegas cannabis, including some Sour Banana Sherbert, which is a sour diesel crossed with banana sherbet, one of my very favorite strains. That diesel, anything related to diesel gets me pretty happy. Yeah, we also got some shatter we're going to hit later, right, Paul?
Hell yeah.
We got some blood orange shatter. We got some CBD full spectrum, which is a 70% CBD with a 3% THC, which we're going to mix together with everything.
Hey, get fucking faded.
So yeah, I like the CBD. You know, from a medical standpoint, a lot of athletes, or especially MMA and jiu-jitsu fighters, jiu-jitsu practitioners, are using CBD to get over inflammation.
Yeah, it's a smarter thing than just thinking about throughout history of like pretty much medicine. People just take some painkillers. Like,
Yeah, that just masks the problem.
Yeah.
CBD will actually help reduce inflammation in your body. So, and you know, if you don't like getting high, if you don't like that aspect of the weed, you can get CBD. It doesn't have any psychoactive effects. You can just get the therapeutic uses. You can dab it, which is what we're going to be doing today. You can also find CBD-rich strains of weed. I like a CBD to THC ratio for me.
I like a little bit of both.
Hell yeah. See, today we got some exciting topics to be talking about, don't we, Paul?
Yeah, well, today's a little bit different, you know, because we're starting to see possibly another company move up the ladder in Bellator, and they're really starting to put together really like interesting fights. And now they're signing.
Absolutely.
They just signed their new deal with a streaming service, and they're
DAZN.
really looking up for them right now.
It's DAZN, that streaming service. Now, technically, they tell us it's supposed to be pronounced DAZN. But I have a hard time saying that with a straight face.
DAZN.
That's what I'm saying, Paul. You nailed it. That sounds really corny.
Oh, that's a little much.
I can say DAZN without feeling like a fool.
Right.
So it's DAZN. It's a 7-fight deal that Bellator signed, Paul, which is not a lot.
But the money's there. I mean,
Yeah, it's $100 million for 3 years, 7
my only
fights a year.
problem with this is what TV platform do they have now? Whereas, like, just because you're on a streaming service that paid you a lot of money doesn't mean your numbers are going to be there anymore, because people don't want to fucking pay for that shit if they're just going to watch Bellator fights, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know how much DAZN costs right now. We just went to their website before the show to see if we could sign up. You can't even order it right now. So that was a bit of a letdown on the deal. But it's only
it
7.
Sucks because now they have all, like, one of the big things they did is, like, they signed Lyoto Machida. They announced the Rory MacDonald Gegard fight, and, like, they're trending up and trending up and trending up. So you really want to see those things, but then now you just slap it into a like streaming service, and if it's exclusive there and it's not on TV as well, I just don't see them getting the numbers that they would want or get from a regular television channel, you know?
Well, currently they will still be doing 15 events on the Paramount network, which was formerly Spike. But let's be honest here, those ratings on Paramount have been tanking because their demographic of that channel has shifted. It's not young men anymore. It's a lot of women.
Well, okay, but here's the deal. Even if they still have those events on whatever, Paramount, or Spike, whatever the fuck it's called.
It doesn't solve their problem there.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's their 7 best cards are going to be on that streaming service. They're not going to throw all their good cards on Spike and knock it, or whatever the fuck.
September 23rd or September 29th card is going to be on there. It's very likely to be. Really? Yeah. That's the plan as of now, but
fuck.
I was really surprised seeing their website. You can't even sign up for this yet, and they're announcing that card on that service.
Yeah,
They're going to load it up like the Fox UFC, that very first card. Remember, we had Kane, Junior Dos Santos, all that shit. Yeah. I mean, it ultimately didn't play out well with the 54-second fight or whatever, but that's what DAZN is attempting to do with Bellator. I think ultimately it's a good thing. It gives Bellator some money, $100 million.
Yeah, the money's there, but when the money won't be there once the contract is up, if the popularity does not excel in the next whatever.
It seems to me like this website, DAZN's got to get their shit together, because you can't even find out what the price is. All you can do there as a U.S. customer is give them your email address. So you need to get up on that. They build themselves as the Netflix of sports. It could be something. It's interesting to see how it plays out. But aside from that, let's talk about the really exciting shit with Bellator. What do we got? What's the big fight?
We got Rory versus Gegard Mousasi, which is a fucking super fight if I've ever heard of one.
At middleweight for Gegard's title, correct, but not Rory's, as far as I understand it.
At catchweight.
Should have done a catchweight and done both titles. That would have been sweet. At one, do it like 180, 179.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Either
way you look at it, though, that's a sick fight. That's one of the most exciting fights in MMA that's been announced. I'm stoked.
Honestly, though, Gegard's been like the most subtle gangster of all time when it comes to big fights, because he's fought any weight class in so many different promotions. He's fought fucking Mark Hunt. He's fucking.
I know.
He's beaten so many different guys all over the place, and he never really gets the credit. You know what I mean?
He flies a little under the radar.
He super does. Okay, and then he fucking beats Chris Weidman and just dips from the UFC. It's what the fuck just happened?
I couldn't believe they let him go.
What
he could easily win the title over there. And they let him go.
Yeah.
But that's the new UFC. I like Gegard. It took a while for his personality to grow on me. You kind of have to watch him a lot because he's subtle. He's very dry.
Yeah.
He talks a lot of shit, but he does it in such a deadpan way. With his accent, it's a little rough, but he's hilarious once you start paying attention to him.
Yeah,
he's a funny motherfucker.
He's funny.
His shit talking is funny.
Badass at the end. Oh,
he's a gangster.
Dude, he is world fucking class. When we talk about fighting, he's one of those guys that just
I think he beats Rory.
Fuck, man. I think he does too. I think he beats Rory because Rory. Don't get me wrong, Rory's world class as well.
That's no disrespect to Rory. Fucking
Rory into deep water, he's gonna fold.
And he's a lot bigger guy.
Yeah.
And
well, let's look at it. I mean, I hate to do this because it was a battle of wills, but when you look at that fight with him and fucking
Lawler,
yeah, Rory ended up. He ended up giving in the end.
Well, that nose
was a mess.
He had serious problems with his nose. But
so was Lawler. Lawler's freaking lip was hanging.
Dude, wars like that take life off a fighter, years 100%. Off a fighter.
And I feel like that if you take Rory back to that place, I don't think he'll be able to do very well.
There's some wear and tear on Rory MacDonald. He had that war with Diego Lima to win the title.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bad motherfucker.
He's lucky he got away with that one. That was a
very close fight. It was a great fight.
Yeah,
but he's been through some wars.
Honestly, Lima has a tough time making weight, dude. Just move up and fight Gegard for the title. That would be nice to watch.
Did you hear how gangster Rory is? He asked Scott Coker if he could fight as an alternate in the heavyweight. He'd get crushed. I don't
fucking believe that shit.
He'd get crushed, but I think it's pretty gangster.
I think Gegard could probably do pretty well in that.
Gegard's a much bigger man, but you think that was some bullshit, just some publicity?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He didn't want that noise, dude. Matt Mitrione versus fucking.
Oh my god! Or
Rory
even him
MacDonald,
against Frank Mir.
What fuck? Well, honestly,
265.
I know they fight on Indian reservations and shit sometimes, but what fucking
commission would sanction
sanctions Rory MacDonald heavyweight? No fucking way.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There's no way.
I mean, I don't know what his walking around weight is, but it couldn't be much over 200.
220.
Yeah, no. I could see him at 2, but that's about the high point.
I don't even think he walks around 200.
I think that's a high weight that he could get to.
Yeah, I think he walks around 195.
Shit. But that's a great fight. I'm excited for that fight.
Real interesting fight because you know what? They're two very similar fighters as well.
I guess if I got to get in the zone. I guess I will to watch that fight, but
what about the co-main event?
The co-main event.
Dig him in his fucking grave, bro. Rampage, Vanderlei Silva.
At heavyweight,
Rampage
nonetheless.
said he doesn't give a fuck about the record. He just wants to retire.
Rampage.
Rampage is a funny.
I mean, we know Vanderlei will stand and bang with him. What's Vanderlei going to weigh?
A lot.
Rampage is going to weigh heavy, too.
Yeah, they're both probably not going to take it too seriously on weight.
He said he's never going back to 205 again. He's done. He's a heavyweight. Rampage, yeah. He announced that Monday. Yeah, he's heavyweight from here on out.
Ugh. It's like him and Rashad with like two complete opposite ways after they fought each other.
Well, because Rampage at heavyweight is not ripped Rampage, it's just fat Rampage.
Yeah, no, he's a fucking...
He was bragging on it on Ariel's show.
It's like how Daniel Cormier is going to look on Saturday.
He's got the dad bod and he's loving it.
Yeah.
He's coming out with a pot belly. And
Roy
no cardio.
Style.
Vanderlei might come out pumped, though. I mean, what's the drug testing like in the UFC? I mean, in the UFC, I'm sorry, I'm fucking high. In Bellator. I don't think they do much outside of commission testing, right?
Yeah. Do they,
I mean, I'm saying Vanderlei is going to...
I'm
not saying Vanderlei is going to juice, but if Vanderlei wants to take some them good old supplements, we just might see hulking Vanderlei come out. Speaking of that, dude, did you see those Instagram photos of new Vitor? Vitor's already ripped again.
What?
He's got some Instagram photo. I mean, it's not much. It's just his upper torso, but he looks jacked, dude. He's already talking about a comeback fight. He's probably going to go to Risen or some shit. Oh, no. Oh, no, no. He's going somewhere where they're not drug testing. We're going to see testosterone Vitor if he comes back.
This one?
Yep.
He's pretty yoked, dude.
Dude, look at him. Look at his traps and his chest. You can tell he's fucking yoked. Like, compared to Vitor we just saw, who was like flabtastic Vitor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the TRT difference.
Yeah, look at him.
He could be coming back.
Look at him right now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But
I don't see him going to Bellator. Bellator's got this welterweight Grand Prix they announced too.
Yep.
Which they said MacDonald is going to join in 2019. That's been announced as well. And I haven't heard any of the rest of the roster, but there's a lot of speculation on everybody from Ed Ruth, who we saw this weekend at Bellator 201.
I'd love to see Ed Ruth versus Rory MacDonald.
Mm-hmm. We got Paul Daly, who just re-signed. Of course, we've got Michael Venom Page. I mean, that could be a sick, sick Grand Prix. I mean, we're talking about Bellator here. I'm excited.
Michael Venom Page.
Yeah.
Fucking demolish people. Dude, imagine... Oh, dude.
We could get some exciting fights in Bellator.
But here's the deal, though.
Up.
Paul Daly probably is not going to be in it. They'll probably give it to Fitch.
Yeah, they
over Daly, just because he just beat him.
Absolutely. And where is it we might have to go to watch all these? Into where? DAZN. I can't say that. I can't. They have to change it. I'm gonna have to call it DAZN. It's not 1995. We don't go in DAZN. Man, welterweight is looking pretty awesome over there. Dude. Bellator's looking good. We got exciting fights coming over there. It's fucking weird to be talking about that in Bellator and not the UFC. Yeah. This is new. This is a new fucking thing. That's pretty.
They're definitely stepping up their game, though.
I think it's good for the sport.
It's becoming noticed.
Let's see if they trickle down some of this $100 million deal to some fighters. That would be cool. We'd all like to see that shit.
Hopefully they scoop up Jose Aldo after he loses his next fight, too.
I can see that happening on both things you said. Yeah. Well, after all this Bellator excitement, I mean, we're coming up on... This is the start of International Fight Week. Right now, we got events all week long that you and I are going to be attending. Yep. All kinds of fan stuff, fan expos, fan events, weigh-ins, all that excitement. And we started off on Friday night with the TUF Finale. Yep. That's got to get you pretty excited for the main event. Am I right?
Yeah, that's going to be. See, that's a strange one actually right now. Because of the recent news that Tavares possibly could be fighting injured.
Yes.
So I think, honestly, with a guy like Tavares where you're kind of just hanging on to that. He's still ranked, right?
Yes, he's ranked.
So he's like just hanging on to that. Like, because I know he's ranked real low. Like, he's like 14th, 15th in one of the divisions. But, so... If you're just hanging on to that spot, and Adesanya is one of those guys who's like only got about 2 fights in the UFC, he's really looking for that spot, and he puts on a show against you, and you're not in there 100%, that's a dangerous place to be, my man.
Absolutely. I'm an Adesanya believer. I think he's the
Like,
real
that
deal.
fool's
I
gonna
think he's
get-
going to whoop this fool's ass.
Well, it's just a
personally.
dangerous game to play.
Absolutely,
Because
it
when
is.
you're talking about a guy who's as versatile as Adesanya is, he's hungry, and you're fucking coming in there injured. That's not a fucking game to play in this division, man.
There's still a lot of people thinking that he's being rushed a bit into this fight. What do you think? Do you think
I
this
don't
is
think
too much
so.
for him?
No.
I don't think so either.
Because Tavares is one of those guys who has always been good enough to hang, but never good enough to win. And he's a battle tested guy. You know, he's you know what I mean? Where he's kind of a journeyman.
Yeah, this is going to tell us a lot more
Yeah.
about Israel than it is about
100%.
anybody else.
Because if Tavares goes out there and beats him, he's a young guy. You should have beat him. If he goes out there and loses, they're like, holy shit. Either this guy got lucky or this kid is fucking legit.
I hope he comes out and really showcases his skills. I'm excited. We need up-and-comers in the UFC.
He has is he's not scared to really bang, and it really gets him in trouble sometimes. Like in that last fight he had, he was in a couple situations where he was just like, he would get frustrated and just drop his hands and swing, and he would eat punches. And he would, honestly, he's got a pretty solid chin, but it was just like, you know,
That's not a strategy to keep doing, though. Not in
Can't
the
do
UFC. This isn't.
Not at the top level
No.
against
This isn't
guys.
kickboxing anymore, where you're so much further above everybody else that he's in there with.
Exactly.
You know, even a guy like Tavares, he can fucking put your lights out if you're just standing there like a fool. So he's definitely got to watch that.
Tavares is not a cakewalk. This is not something that's gonna just be like, oh yeah, it's total mismatch. It's just Adesanya's gonna fucking outclass him. There's a good chance. Oh, dude, actually, Tavares is ranked 8th.
It was a little bit higher, yeah, 8th.
Yeah.
This is really a showcase right here.
And this is not a fucking division to fuck around in either.
He'll leap into the top 10 with a win here.
If you beat Brad Tavares right now and you just fucking, you're gonna face killers from now on after this.
Right.
There's nowhere else that you can go.
Well, see, that's the thing. If he barely wins here, if Israel barely wins here, that's almost the worst thing that could happen to him, because that means he's not going to be ready to face some of these killers in the higher rankings, and that's exactly who he's going to have to face with a win. What we want to see, if you're a fan of his, is him come in and demolish.
Well, let's just look at it this way. So where Brad Tavares is right now is the 8th. And then look at the top of the division right now.
Well, tell for our listeners, run down the top, at least the top 5 in the division right now.
Yoel, Luke Rockhold, Chris Weidman, Gastelum, Jacare. So Yoel, he's out for a minute. He fucked his knee up. Luke's moving up to light heavyweight. Chris Weidman, who knows when he's going to fight. Kevin Gastelum, they told him to fill in for Yoel, and he didn't. So he's going to be on fucking... He's going to be on the back burner in their idea.
The way
and
Dana goes.
Robert Whittaker's hurt still. So then Jacare, who just lost to Gastelum. So let's say Israel beats him, dude. Then he's going to be like... He's going to be in there where his next... Like, he could possibly end up fighting Kelvin Gastelum next. If he wins this fight.
Oh.
Or someone like him, you know, or Jacare.
That's the
thing.
thing.
Or Derek Brunson.
That's why the worst...
Like,
right.
He's got it. This is really going to be one of those situations where you got to go out there and get this win. You can't win this by a fucking split decision. You're not going to get anything because
that'd be the worst thing that could happen for him is to barely win.
Because then
he'd be better off with a loss.
Well, let's look at it this way: even if he wins and it's not a good performance, he's still going to fight killers because you still have Uriah Hall in there, and you still have Paulo Costa who's fighting this weekend also, and then all these Elias Theodoro, all these guys who are all young, just as young as he is, and just as hungry. So it's like, this is really where he can separate himself from the pack, or he can really ruin his stock. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. So we both agree then he needs to either go out there and really execute a stunning win.
He needs to go out there and like...
Or he needs to lose. Those are the two best things for his career.
He needs to go out there and just dominate. Like just outclass him.
That's better than if he barely wins, he'd be better off losing. And with a loss, that just means he needs more development. He's a young fighter.
That's
he's a newcomer.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, and that means he's certainly not ready.
Or he goes out there and dusts him. If he
killers.
goes out there and just dusts him, it's gonna be like, holy shit. He's gonna get someone in the top 4. Probably.
Yeah, then we'll really see what's up.
Yeah.
So let's hope as fans of his that he goes out and has a decisive victory, or he has a close loss.
If he has a close loss, it's going to be kind of bad too, because then we're talking about like the narrative's being told that Brad Tavares has been hurt all week and he's really just been trying to recover and make weight, and he says he can fight. It's like, come on. If he goes out there and has a close fight and like just inches out a decision, you'd be like, holy shit, man, this guy is not as good as people thought he was. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that very well can happen. Because Tavares is no fucking pushover, man.
No, he's a solid fighter. There's a reason he's ranked up there. He's been on a pretty good streak.
I'm telling you, man, this division is just in a strange like place right now.
Absolutely, with Yoel in kind of limbo.
Everyone's hurt or fought each other.
Luke piecing out. Weidman with his recent string of fights and losses.
The next two guys, because honestly, Weidman or Gastelum's getting the title shot next. Honestly, because...
How could you give it to Gastelum over Weidman when Weidman whooped his ass?
Because Weidman's lost what?
Oh, I know. I understand that argument.
3 out of his last 5?
Right. Strange division right now. It's a good opportunity for Israel to just come in and skyrocket to the conversation.
If he were to come in there and just dust Brad Tavares, then he could honestly... I could see like I could see a title eliminator between him and Weidman or him and Gastelum, and him ended up getting a title shot with Whitaker, because people want to see, like... The UFC is one of those things where, like, there's fucking rankings because they have to have rankings. But those rankings don't mean shit when you make noise. They don't mean shit when you're a guy who can make noise.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, like Holly Holm, everyone, when Holly Holm got the Ronda Rousey fight, what are they doing? What was she ranked, like 9th or something like that?
Something like that, 8th, I believe.
She has 2 decision wins, and then she comes out, fucks Ronda up. Like, come on. This is professional fighting. People need to stop doing this ranking shit.
Absolutely.
This is professional fighting. Anybody can beat anybody on any night. Everyone,
100%. That's why we love this sport.
That's
yeah.
That's why it's so hard to make stars, you know?
Absolutely.
It's so hard to make stars because all it takes is one guy to dust them, and it could happen to anyone. Anybody can get clipped, you know what I mean? GSP got fucking knocked out. Come on.
Good old Matt Serra.
You know?
100%.
But yeah, it's going to be a good fight.
And then right after the TUF, I mean, we're going to have a few other assorted fights on TUF because Saris has rebooked a fight on there. Yeah. But, you know, they're saving most of that card for the winners of the show and the other stars of the show.
The next night is really the big card.
Roxanne Modafferi is fighting on there.
These Ultimate Fighter finales is always one big,
it's like the warm-up
transition fight, and then
it's almost like the undercard for Saturday.
Although the last 2 years they've had some pretty big fights, this year is probably like the most low-profile fight they've had as the main event in a while.
Remember 3 years ago they did 3 events in a row. They did Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yep.
That was awesome.
And then they had the Alvarez Dos Anjos title fight. What was it? 2 years ago.
Yep. It's good shit. This year's, the Friday night card's not as great, solid, but the Saturday night 226. Saturday night 226. Start right off with DC and Stipe. I mean, as that draws closer and closer here this week, I'm pretty excited for that. DC announced earlier this week that he's currently weighing about 245 pounds. He expects to weigh 230 on fight night.
230? No fucking way. He's a liar.
Yeah,
he's
I don't see that.
245. I don't see him cutting a single fucking pound, bro.
Now, I'll tell you one thing, Paul. I want to see what you think about this. I was thinking about him. He came down from heavyweight, as we all know, where he was undefeated.
What was he weighing those days? I never really watched him.
He was clocking in around 230, thereabouts.
Maybe that's where
he fluctuating a little bit from there. Not exact, but he came down, as we all know. He had all those weight cutting problems in the Olympics.
Towel trick and shit.
Right, and then he had some weight cutting issues here at 205, but he proved to be a hell of a damn good fighter. Only man to beat him was John Jones, the greatest fighter of all time, twice, undisputable GOAT. But he's a hell of a fighter. But there's something different that's happening this time. He's been down at 205 for a while now.
This is not the fight he needs.
No, he's putting weight back on now.
Yeah. This is not what he needs.
He's, instead of stripping weight down...
This is not what he needs for his brand, because this is not the motherfucker to do this with.
I don't think so. And who knows how his body's really going to operate back at that weight again after being down at 205. He could be just like he was before. He could be a little bit slower.
Stipe is a different fucking animal, though, dude. I'm telling you, this is not the fucking guy to do this against. If you're John Jones, it's different, because John Jones has a different skill set. Daniel Cormier is not... I don't see this being a good night for him. I think this is going to be a mauling, honestly. I mean, I could be very wrong here. I think Stipe is going to beat him up.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Like, I think he's going to beat him up.
I respect DC as a fighter, but as a fan, I just want to see him get his ass kicked. You know, I would love to see Stipe cement himself as the man.
Does he, though? Because then everyone just goes, all right, now fight John Jones. That's the problem with Stipe. Stipe never gets his props. Whether it's him being a badass, him being champion, him being the best heavyweight of all time. I feel like he's always been the...
Dude, he wins again, though. How can they not? I know they keep wanting to not promote him. I don't understand why Modelo Beer gives better promotion to Stipe Miocic than the goddamn UFC does. This blows my mind. But... at some point, just like Anderson Silva, it took him a few years before he really broke out. It was that Vitor fight before people were suddenly like, okay. But he'd been on a win streak the whole time.
See, that's
he was the same fighter.
UFC. The UFC
he could
the UFC
have
only
the same
pushes
thing.
so many people. Like, honestly, Amanda Nunes is like... they push the fuck out of Ronda. Amanda Nunes is probably the best women's fighter of all time.
Yes.
Like, hands down at this point, next to Cyborg.
And she's got a great personal story.
Yeah.
And they ignore her.
Don't fucking care.
They're like, fuck it. Same thing with Stipe. They don't give a shit about Stipe.
Yeah.
They don't promote that dude ever. I don't understand how you're not... I get they make some excuses about he's not the greatest speaker. Who gives a fuck? He's the baddest man on the planet. Anderson Silva could barely talk English too. No one really gives a fuck.
That doesn't give a fuck.
Because at some point your accomplishments outweigh your speaking ability.
Yeah, who fucking cares?
I mean, come on. He's the heavyweight champ of the world. Demolishing motherfuckers.
Yeah, and he's just dusted some people. You know what I mean? Like, he's a
and his skill set
badass.
continues to grow. He continues to get better. People talk about the Stefan Struve loss. He's not the same fighter that lost to Stefan Struve, for goodness sakes.
Not at all.
And I agree with you 100%. I think he's going to go out here and he's going to put it on DC. I think he might even knock him out. I think it's going to be it's going to be a showcase.
I think it's going to be a long night.
Stipe's going to put a workman's beating on him.
Yeah. I forgot to mention this earlier, but did you hear about Ronda going to Hall of Fame on Friday night too?
Yep, sure did.
What do you think of that? I think it's too soon, dude.
I think it's too soon.
Too fucking soon.
I thought they had a 2-year stipulation from retirement, and she's never officially retired. Dude,
Faber's going in too. Well, last year he went in, right? And that was like 2 months after he retired.
Well, let's be honest, and this is not a real Hall of Fame.
No,
I mean, it's the only thing we have.
Yeah.
But,
It's not a real deal, for sure. It's just a
but it's what we have, so
yeah,
it's
cool.
it is what it is, and it's the Hall of Fame.
Don't get me
and
wrong, it's cool, but it's not like the NFL Hall of Fame.
No, I think it's too soon.
Hall of Fame.
No, it's not legit like that. It's the UFC shit. The UFC is.
You know what Chael said? I heard Chael say on him and Ariel's new show, which it was a good point. How does Ronda doesn't deserve to go to the Hall of Fame this quick, because Ronda never beat a champion ever. Think about that. Did Ronda ever beat a champion in the UFC ever? No, she literally
not a UFC champion.
She never beat a champion ever.
I mean, Miocic Tate became champ later.
Later, so that doesn't count.
Yeah. Didn't she beat Miocic to win the Strikeforce title too, right?
Yeah.
And then they gave her the belt, which, I mean, you can justify sort of with the Strikeforce.
Not necessarily, because think about it. When they bought other organizations, this was Chael's argument. When they bought other organizations, they would take champions and the UFC champion, and then that would be the title fight.
You can do that for Aldo though.
Yeah, but that weight
he came in as WEC champ, right?
That weight class didn't even exist.
Neither did 135 women.
Yeah, no, but there was no like, they just put her up against just a norm like they didn't put her up who she was gonna fight in Strikeforce for the title.
No.
When she went into the UFC was his argument basically, and so he says that I kind of agree with his argument as well because I don't think any Ronda dominated a UFC without any world class. Don't get me wrong, there's some great women's fighters that were in that time. But there was never really high level world class strikers, wrestlers, or grapplers.
Nothing could handle her particular skill set with that judo and that armbar.
As soon as 3 of them showed up in the division, Ronda got her ass whooped, and they started beating each other. And people don't realize. I don't mean to hate on Ronda Rousey like this, but I just feel like it's kind of another story that the UFC wrote, and that it's not necessarily what's true. You know what I mean? It's kind of the marketing that should be behind fighters like Amanda Nunes and Stipe Miocic. That got her where she is. You know?
I can agree with that argument to some point, although I do think that Ronda's accolades are deserved. I think she deserves to go in this little bullshit Hall of Fame, but not. I agree that not so soon.
Year after she or whatever.
No, it's far too soon because.
And that wound is still fresh. She's still kind of salty about the UFC.
That's the thing that sours me on Ronda. I was a fan of hers because I liked the noise she was bringing about women's MMA. I thought that was good. The attention that she got that crossover thing. And I liked it from a perspective of expanding the sport out.
Yeah.
You know, I have a daughter. I'm a fan of, like, powerful women doing things. I raised her alone for a long time, you know, as a single parent. So I like strong women role models that are out there. And I'm not saying Ronda's personality, but her accomplishments. I used to point out to my kid, like, look, here's a woman going out here and whooping ass in the UFC when Dana White 2 years ago said, I'm never having women in the UFC. And now look. So that was a good example. And then she went and fucking soured it all up with not being able to handle a loss.
That's what I feel, too. Like, She created this narrative that she was unbeatable, and then as soon as she was hit with some adversity, she crumbled like a cheap suit.
And no one expected her to go undefeated. It's fucking MMA. Nobody goes undefeated. It's not some bullshit boxing where you can fucking pick and... No one expects this. It was such a disappointment.
There's no... All right, let's put it this way. There's no Rocky Marciano in the UFC.
Right, and there's never going to be. No. And it's exactly what you said. That wound is still fucking fresh because she can't even admit it now. She's still fucking salty about it.
Yeah.
She's still refusing to talk about it.
She's still cussing out Mike and Mike in the morning over fucking... Can't go back in time, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. It's bullshit.
Come on, bro. Like, he's a fucking reporter. He's asking you how you feel about losing 2 fucking years ago.
Yeah, a defining moment in your career that led to the fucking WWF bullshit.
In a complete different world, also. Like, it wasn't like he wasn't taking a shot at her.
No. At what point can you just not talk about this? Like, oh, we can talk about everything except, you know, those 2 times you got your ass kicked.
Yeah.
The last 2 times everyone saw you in competition are just off limits.
Yeah.
Because you're going to cry.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Does she not see people like Conor McGregor? You can say what you want. People can fucking hate on Conor all they want. That man knows how to handle a loss.
Yeah, and then guess what he says after that? He's like, fuck everyone who fucking doubted me anyways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't... I just don't get that. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, and it soured me on her.
You know how hard it is to end any career on a win?
It's impossible.
How hard that is?
Look at Rashad. Rashad just officially retired.
And
gets ass kicked.
Just all the way down. Nobody wins and someone comes in like, hey, man, you should really hang it up. You know? That never comes after a win. In any sport. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very hard and very rare to go out with a W. It's ridiculous.
Especially with no L's after that W.
Of course.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
There's no shame.
Yeah.
She's acting like everybody's in like, oh no, we're ashamed of the way you handled the loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Whatever.
It's her career. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. But just like we can sit here and critique it because it's what she's putting out to us. So
100%.
Good luck to her over in the what is it, WWE? Is that what that shit is?
WWE, dude. She's
I don't know.
Already got a title shot and shit, I guess.
Seems like she's whooping ass and taking names over there from MMA Fighting. Insists on putting articles. I admit
to report on her.
I admit I click on it and read it a little bit. I find it somewhat interesting, but
it's like reverse CM Punk.
I don't watch that shit.
It's like Ronda starts getting her ass whooped like CM Punk, isn't it?
I can't hang with that shit. Good luck to her, but
all right, moving on back to Saturday.
Let's move back to the good shit. We both think Stipe is ultimately going to win. We both think Cormier is going to likely retire, although he's saying he's going to retire in March now. He's saying he's retiring in the upcoming March of 2019. So maybe he does go back to 205, but
to fight who though?
Who? John Jones? John Jones is going to beat him again. I don't even want to see him a third time, unless it's maybe at heavyweight.
What the fuck is it worth the third time, though, when you're 2-0 again?
Unless DC wins and Jones comes back and it's a heavyweight, I can maybe see that. But otherwise, what's the fucking point,
what the fuck? What's going to be DC's excuse after getting knocked out? And then John's like, the feud's over, we're friends.
Nah, he gets KO'd. Nah, he's going to retire with a loss. He's not cutting back to 205.
Brock Lesnar, where you at, homie?
Yeah, he might try for that. Try to get a money fight in there. I don't know. I don't really care. I think he's losing. Good luck to him.
DC said that he wants that Brock Lesnar fight?
I heard him talking about it just a few hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't think he deserves that fight. I think that's John Jones' fight. If Brock's only fighting one more time in the UFC, it's against John Jones.
Yeah, come on. Especially if he loses
if John Jones loses to Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely. But, and I think Brock loses both those fights, but damn, I'll pay to watch them.
Yeah, hell yeah. hell yeah.
We can talk about him all the time. Imagine if he won. Imagine the craziness if Brock came back and beat John Jones and then beat Stipe.
Well, everyone talked about it before, like the Fedor Brock was so big when Brock was at his height. Mm-hmm. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Fedor's gonna come over, and then they're gonna fight." And, it never really got put together. And I feel like that was the fight everyone wanted in their prime.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen, but imagine a world where Brock comes back and beats those two dudes. He'd go down as the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time.
If he beat John Jones?
If he beat John Jones?
Have to beat Stipe. He just beat John Jones, and everyone would be like, holy fucking shit. You know what I mean?
That'd be shit.
That would
man.
Be,
I love to think about it. No, it's not going to happen.
It would never happen.
Fat chance. Don't put your money on that, folks.
Yeah.
Whatever the odds are, that's not a good fucking bet.
Yeah, but
dude, and then we got an undercard on this fucking 226.
The co-main dude is
got another
badass.
Championship fight. Brian Ortega, undefeated. Max Holloway on a. What's Holloway's win streak at right now? Is it 12, 11?
It be like 12 something.
It's ridiculous. Dude is on a roll. His last loss was to Conor McGregor in the fight where McGregor tore his ACL in the second round and beat him with wrestling. Both a couple of young fighters at that point, but still Conor pulled through with some grit.
12 straight. This will be his 13th.
12 straight wins for Max. Coming in against Brian Ortega, who is he's undefeated, is he not? Yeah, but he's got a draw on there.
14-0, 1 contest.
That's a sick fight right there, but I think Holloway takes it. I think his striking will prove to be the difference.
See, I don't know.
I don't think he's going to be able to get in and take him down, Ortega.
I don't know.
If he can, it'll be an interesting match.
But here's the deal, though. We've seen prior fights where Max is not very good on the ground. He got dominated on the ground by Conor McGregor. Come on.
Conor with his torn ACL, too.
Yeah.
Dominating him on the ground. But this was a long time ago. Let's give credit here.
That was a long time ago. But
this was 12 fucking fights ago for this guy, so it's a different fighter.
For sure, but Brian Ortega's fucking something else on the ground. He'll pull full guard. He'll just fucking standing guillotine him like he did Cub.
What's his take? What's Holloway's takedown defense at?
83%.
83% all time. That's not that great, but I don't know. I still like Holloway to win. I don't think Ortega can really get in on him too much.
Damn.
I think he's going to win. I think he's going to go up to lightweight and try to get his name in the mix up there.
A fight. He averages two submission attempts a fight.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'm not knocking this kid at all. He could go in there. and sub him.
Dude, or you can just knock him the fuck out. He could. He's
I think that was more of a. I'm not gonna say a lucky shot.
No, fuck
on.
Dude, I saw that shit live.
I mean, there was no luck. He saw that his right wasn't working, so he switched it to an elbow instead. I mean, that was calculated and smart. But it was a perfect shot, though.
Only problem
it was a perfect shot because Edgar was coming in right into a fucking elbow.
I have with Max Holloway is he gets a little wild sometimes, and I don't think this is the motherfucker to get wild with.
Well, I don't think he's going to land that perfect shot on Max Holloway. I think he could. I mean, everybody could, but that's what happened with Edgar. I think in a rematch, Edgar wins that fight, personally. But
dude, you should have felt the energy in the arena when fucking he almost took Edgar's back on their feet.
Oh yeah,
dude, he literally just turned.
I was watching here.
He literally it wasn't even shit either. Cause like he just grabbed like a Muay Thai clinch and Edgar like turned away and he like went to jump on his back and everyone was like, "Oh shit!" It was like it was one of those things there, like, "Oh fuck!" Like he's so fucking dangerous, bro, in the submission game that it's like.
That's what makes this fight so exciting.
That's what exactly. It's a classic match, like, you know, submission specialist versus striker, where it's like what is dominant. But at the same time, Brian Ortega is one of those guys who can stand and he can throw as well.
That's agree.
What makes this fucking fight
I think
so
it's
great.
a super close fight. I mean, if I was laying percentage numbers, I'd say I'm 55% that Max Holloway is going to win.
I'm taking Ortega just for the.
I don't think he's going to go in there and whoop his ass, but I think he's going to ultimately come out with a win.
Just for the sake of the argument, I'm going Ortega.
All right, let's see what happens, man. I'm excited.
Then we got the freaking big boys.
Oh, Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou.
That's a fucking fight, bro.
Ngannou's return fight after Stipe. What do you think he's been working on? He didn't need to worry about wrestling with this.
Does he, though? Because Derek Lewis doesn't have bad wrestling. I've seen Derek Lewis win off wrestling. On multiple occasions.
Certainly could. He's very underrated in the wrestling department. He might go in there and use the Stipe Miocic recipe to beat Francis Ngannou, who is currently ranked, what, third?
First.
Okay, that's some bullshit. I mean, in reality, shouldn't he be ranked around third? I mean, I don't understand how you keep coming into UFC rankings, lose a title shot, remain the number one
because
contender.
he beat Blades head to head.
Yeah, he did beat Blades.
So he'd be second, because I think the only person you could really put ahead of him right now is probably Volkov.
Yep.
Because everyone else is starting to lose, man. The heavyweight divisions are running out of contenders really quick.
Hey, after this fight here that we're discussing, we should take a pause and grab that CBD so we can mix that in and do a dab here in the show, because it's been a minute since we smoked some weed here on the Smoking Weed podcast.
Yeah, let's take
so,
a quick break.
What do you think, though? Let's finish this discussion here on Ngannou and Lewis. Like, I'm excited about this fight, man. There's so many good fights on this card. I mean, if we have every fight all the way down to the prelims is good, but this one's got me super excited. I like Lewis in this fight because of his wrestling that you just brought up. And he's a superb puncher as well. I mean, he's got knockout power.
Yeah, I think this one's a toss-up, dude. I'm going to go with Francis.
You're going to go Francis?
I'm going to go Francis just because I've seen Derek Lewis get in trouble a few times, and he doesn't handle it very well.
Yeah, he gets knocked with one of them monster shots. He's going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I think he'll use a mix of his wrestling to stay alive, so that's pretty exciting.
So, if you're Francis and you win this fight, though, did you earn yourself a second title shot?
I think it depends. Let's say it depends on how he wins. If he goes out there and just KOs him in the first 30 seconds, I don't know. He may not want another title shot. But let's say he goes out there and let's say he stuffs a bunch of fucking Derek Lewis takedowns, suddenly shows he's been working on that wrestling pretty hard since he lost.
KOs him in third.
And KOs him like later in the game after like stuffing, 6 or 7 takedowns or some shit. Well, then you might have an argument because then you say,
I'd like to see him go into deep water again also.
I don't think he gets a title shot right away because it depends on the John Jones situation again, I think, with the UFC heavyweight picture. But if he goes out there and convincingly shows some improvement on his wrestling, he's definitely in the mix.
Yeah, for sure. He's always going to be in the mix when you can knock out 90% of the division. It's just, is he ever going to get to that level where he can take Stipe or he can beat someone like John Jones or even Daniel Cormier?
Dude, let's say he goes out, Derek Lewis takes him down 3-4 times quick, real easy in the first, dominates him, and then comes out in the second, and he just gets knocked the fuck out. Derek Lewis does. So he wins like that. He wins showing no improvement in his wrestling, but knocks him out. Then what?
Fights Mark Hunt.
Yeah, he's not going to beat any of the elite guys.
Strikers, yeah. It's like you seen that fucking shit.
I hope as a fan, I'm hoping we see some wrestling game out of this guy. I'd really like to see that. I don't want to see the same. I'd like to see some improvement.
I just don't know if we're going to, because Derek Lewis has always used wrestling and his fucking grappling skills as like to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with Francis Ngannou striking, there's no such thing as a backup plan, because as soon as he hits you with one of those big shots, you're probably going to be on the floor already. So you know what I mean? It's like he's not the type of guy that you're going to go in there and stand with and get lit up one time and be like, all right, now I'm going to wrestle. If he hits you one time like hard as fuck, you're going to sleep. I'm sorry. There's no one in this division that is just going to...
There's no denying that.
Eat 100%. I mean, Stipe kind of did, but at the same time, Stipe was constantly moving. Derek Lewis will plant his feet. If he just plants his feet and gets blasted, he's going to go to bed.
Exciting fight.
That's what's kind of the downfall with Francis, because like we might not see his improvement because of how good he is in another facet of the game. You know what I mean?
Very true.
But is that a downfall though?
It is when the heavyweight champion is got the wrestling pedigree. But hey.
Okay, but let's say DC wins this fight on Saturday, and then Francis wins this fight on Saturday. Would you do DC versus Francis?
Oh God, no! I don't want to see that, because DC would just wrestle him to death.
Just Anderson Silva.
Absolutely, I don't think he'd stand a prayer. I think it'd be even worse.
Dude, what if Francis knocks
Stipe will sit there and throw some punches with him. I don't think DC would at all.
What if Francis knocks DC out from the bottom?
Man, DC will just take him down and smother him. I don't want to see that fight at all.
Yeah, fuck DC. I hate him.
I think DC beats Francis handily.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to fight. Yep, let's do this. Let's get this CBD, THC dab going. All right, word. If you're listening on the podcast and not watching on YouTube, there's going to be a little bit of a pause here while we get this dab rig rolled up here with this mixture of a blood orange shatter and some CBD isolate, or no, not isolate. This is like a CBD sap or shatter. It's more sappy than chattery, honestly, but yeah. It's like a 67% CBD. Well, don't worry about it. I'll edit shit out if we need. Oh yeah, such a dope little rig, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I like that rig a lot, man. A couple of cool pieces we got today.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Absolutely, dude.
Sorry if you're hearing this.
It's all right. Torches are necessary at this point. Yeah, nothing we can do about the torch noise if you're listening on the podcast,
Yeah.
folks. But it's the only thing I don't like about dabbing is the blowtorch. Still a better experience than using like an electronic nail, but
Hold on.
all right.
Go in 10 seconds. Give it like 10 seconds and go ahead. Cap that bitch. How's that?
Oh, that's delicious.
Next on the card, we got Michael Chiesa versus Anthony Pettis. This was a fight that was supposed to be on the Brooklyn card that Conor McGregor threw the dolly through.
Right.
Cut Chiesa's face and shit. Chiesa's had this big thing all week where he like called. They must have come to a settlement or something because now he's airing out all the dirty laundry about the whole situation all of a sudden.
I noticed he's
like, fuck that guy. He fucked my. He said that he fucked his title shot up. Get the fuck out of here.
Ooh. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I don't like that stink he's been raising. Just focus on your fight. You know, if he goes out here and loses to Pettis, in retrospect, people are going to think it's because he was too focused on Conor McGregor and pre-fight.
Probably. Which he kind of is.
Yeah, I don't understand this is bullshit, the title shot. I mean, yeah, Conor fucked him over. Conor should pay him. Conor should pay his fight purse. All kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But
title shot? No fucking way.
Get the fuck out of here. That was such a circumstantial thing. You can't use hindsight to be like, oh no, circumstances would have then played out and I would have got it. Like, come on, dude.
No. Yeah. Isn't Al fucking ranked ahead of him anyways?
What's Chiesa ranked on that right there?
9.
I think Al is now. After that fight, I think he's ranked 8th. Prior, he was not. He was like 12th.
Yeah, Pettis was looking a little hefty a couple weeks ago, too. So we'll see how he does making weight this time.
I don't know about Pettis anymore.
It's a strange fight, I feel. Both these guys are kind of in limbo.
What does Pettis get with a win here? I mean,
he's technically
a little bit of redemption.
I don't see how, but then Chiesa, I don't know, man. He got dominated by Kevin Lee. He can say he didn't tap all he wants, but that was from start to finish a beatdown.
Right.
He had his way the whole fight. Literally.
100%. Who do you think wins this fight?
I'm gonna go with Pettis.
I think Pettis does too.
And then we got Gohan Saki, Khalil Roundtree.
I'm pretty excited about that fight right there, actually. I like Roundtree. Saki we haven't seen enough of yet. I mean, we know from kickboxing he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Roundtree, I like him. Watched him on TUF. I think he's a good, solid fighter. He's here in Vegas.
Zero fucking wrestling.
He's not a wrestler.
He's not going to need it right now. But I'm just putting it out there. He's got fucking zero wrestling.
Well, I'm not saying I like him to be a future title holder. I like him as a fighter. I enjoy watching him. He's got some good strikes. I like his kicks.
Yeah, this should be interesting. But I think
Saki's probably going to murk him. Yeah. I mean, because he's going to go out there and trade with him.
Yeah, that's not going to be what
he's not going to wrestle him.
Do, though.
And we're talking about Saki here. He's going to
beat him down.
Yeah. But I like Roundtree.
He's all right.
I hope he pulls off a win. That'd be cool.
Then Uriah Hall, Paulo Costa.
I like this fight too. It just depends on which Uriah Hall shows up.
Costa.
Uriah Hall, who actually knows how to fight and is not all fucked up in the head, shows up.
Yeah.
He could actually win this fight.
But is that Uriah Hall around anymore?
I don't even know. I wish he was. He's such a bad motherfucker when he is.
He's just so 1 foot in, 1 foot out right now.
He is. He's not a fighter in his head, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I mean he's put that out there for us all to see. It's not like I'm some fucking psychologist here.
More of a martial artist, you know.
Yeah.
Where he knows, he likes, kind of like how Anthony Johnson is.
He's the kind of guy who hits you a clean shot, and then he feels a little guilty about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're rattled. He's like, oh, shit. Poor guy.
Yeah.
And you can't, I mean, okay, cool, you're a nice person, but perhaps you shouldn't be in full contact mixed martial arts if you don't have that full-time killer mentality.
Dude, like, he almost killed that dude on the Ultimate Fighter.
I know, he was such a beast.
Fucking killed that.
Oh, my God. When he's on, dude, if he had that, if he was a shark.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, man. Oh. This is probably going to be Costa.
Like,
he's a beast,
yeah, he's up and coming. He's hungry right now, you know.
And he's fucking huge. He's a big dude.
Big dude.
He's big and he's angry. Undefeated. He probably gets the win here, too. Yeah, I like this fight, too, man. All these fights are so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's about time UFC came with a good card here. Loving it.
Moving on, we got what the fuck? Rafael Sunsao versus Rob Font.
Meh.
We've talked about this in the past. I don't think. I think this is kind of a mismatch, and it's because Sunsao's in a strange situation right now, because now you see that he's already kind of got outclassed by the champion not too long ago, you know? Like,
Absolutely.
he was part of the reason Dillashaw built up to get back to a title shot. So how do you then go back and give a Sunsao a title shot against Dillashaw? You know what I mean?
Very difficult.
Or are they 1-1 together now?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a grudge match.
They are.
But all I'm saying is it's gonna take some like real phenomenal performance by Sunsao for Dana White to look at that and go, "Wow, that guy deserves a rematch against Dillashaw." You know, because Dillashaw handled him.
I don't think Rob Font is the guy he does that against, and people are suddenly talking about a title shot.
Unless he just goes out there and just completely mauls him, dude. He's got it. He has to put on a really, really well put together performance, or he's not going to really get the notoriety here. When you're the third guy in the division, you're fighting the 11th guy. Although anyone can beat anybody, there's still a Sunsao as a freaking.
He's supposed to be elite.
He's got a hell of a more resume than Rob Font does.
Absolutely. So he's obviously supposed to win this fight, but it just doesn't do much for him in the division either way.
Yeah,
it should be a decent fight though. Rob Font's a live
wins.
fighter. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
if Rob Font wins, then
it's a great opportunity for him.
Yeah, it's big time.
Hell yeah!
All right. Then
moving down the card, we got
Curtis Millender versus Max Griffin. Millender is one of those guys who was a quick fill-in, ended up fighting Thiago Alves and just put on a show.
Sure did.
Put on a show, and then Max Griffin coming off beating Perry, which he had a real good fight as well.
Yeah, you know, I begrudgingly admit that I'm a Matt Perry fan.
Mike Perry?
Yeah, I say Matt. I'm fucking high. But, yeah, no, I like Perry, but dude, Griffin handled him. That was a good fight. He put it on him.
Well, he just stifled him completely and just didn't give him any options, and that's where Perry really needed to change up his whole career.
For real, he needs to take some time and evolve his game a bit.
Well, he's fighting this weekend as well,
though. I know.
But so I think Millender picks up the win here. Just continues the hype train. Max Griffin, don't get me wrong, he's a tough guy, but Millender looks like he's like real legit. You know what I mean? And he looks like one of those guys that he's really gonna make some noise in this division. And Max Griffin's kind of a journeyman at this point as well.
Be a good fight though. I like the fight itself. I think it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Then Gilbert Burns, Dan Hooker. Who you got there?
I actually like Hooker in this fight.
Yeah, me too.
Moving right through that. Lando Veneta. Yeah. I mean, he's probably gonna.
Yeah, these.
I don't even know. When we get down at the ass end of the card, the fights aren't as great. Just what you would expect.
The opener on the Fight Pass prelims got Paul Felder filling in for Yancy Medeiros to fight Mike Perry.
Mike Perry. I like this right here. This is a good fight, man.
It's a good fight, and I like how Paul Felder's stepping in here because he was talking about how that Brooklyn card that he's fucking having a tough time getting down to that weight class, and there's only so many times a year he can get down there. So this may be a 170 fight, maybe that gives him a little to go towards welterweight.
No, absolutely.
Because he's not too small. He's pretty solid.
No, he's taller than Perry, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an inch taller. Perry's a small guy, though, too.
Yeah, but Perry's just big, muscle-wise.
Yeah, he's
fucking ripped.
Dude, I say Paul Felder takes the W here, dude.
You think... Well, Perry, I don't know what kind of guy he is, but his girlfriend was like his manager and one of his trainers, and they broke up.
Yeah, they're done so.
Did some fucking public shit, too. I guess there's some little Instagram drama they're into. So, but that can fuck with a dude's head. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It might spur him on, or it might fuck with his head. Maybe he'll grow as a fighter though, because he'll get some new
I think
new people in, which
he'll
would be
definitely
good.
Grow. I don't know what's going on in his head as far as like his personal life, but
I like him as a fighter. He just needs a little bit more development before they keep rushing him in to face these killers.
Where's he train at?
I can't remember right now.
Doesn't he live in Florida?
I think it's ATT, but I could be wrong.
I was gonna say, if he lives, I think he lives in Florida, right?
I'm certain he lives in Florida.
He should be training ATT.
Yeah, that's why.
He's not. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
I'm pretty sure he is, but I'm high. And it's been a while since I looked into his training habits, but yeah, he should be there if he's not. But this is a good fight either way. He might. Paul Felder's a good ass fighter, man. I think it's it's unranked Mike Perry fighting another ranked guy, and
honestly, Paul Felder could have been lightweight champion of the world right now.
He could have beat Khabib.
I think he could have.
Felder's underrated. People just don't know. He could come in here and fuck Mike Perry up.
Yeah.
Word.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up, man.
I think that does, man. Well, thank everybody for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Follow us on everything.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit that little bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. You can find us on iTunes. All the information's at SWATMMA.com. Probably let's thank our sponsor, CryptoCrewNext.com, one more time.
Go check it out.
We're going to get back to smoking on some of this fine herb that we got here in front of us.
Yeah, we're going to take a couple dabs.
Hope y'all are doing the same.
Yeah.
See you on the next episode.
See you guys later.
Peace.